You hit the button. Oh my gosh, we're recording. Hello, everyone. Welcome. The Indie Council is in session. This is a place for the leading voices from across the industry to gather to talk news, titles, and everything indie. I'm your master of ceremonies, Jill Grote, the Indie Informer, and today our hosts look a little different. We have Janet Garcia as Widow and Mike
Hornet.
Toundrow as Fly Knight.
Yeah, it's Hornet, but bzzz, bzzz.
Cha! Oh, I said Hornet. Everyone, no one pay attention to that.
Jill, what's your costume?
I am the fire maiden from Elden Ring.
Oh, my
Nice.
favorite indie game.
Yeah,
I see
it's
we
great.
all followed the
Great little
assignment.
indie game.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm sorry.
It's not like
I
it's not like
didn't
two of us
plan around it.
are struggling to breathe and see, but it's okay.
You know, some people decided to make a costume that wouldn't cover up their face. You know?
Hey, I have a wig available to offset the audio quality of the intro, but yeah.
See,
Look
I
at
was
that.
like,
Happy Halloween.
Hey,
Happy
I
Halloween,
was like,
everybody.
this fly mask has obviously the mouth open, but what I did not anticipate
Yep.
was complete blockage of the nose.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that's not great.
Pretty difficult. I'm gonna see how long I can survive in this mask for the bit.
That sounds very much like Mike. This is terrible, but I'm going to see how long I can do it because we're going to be talking a lot about Halloween, the spirit of Halloween, and games we should be playing. And we're going to go ahead and just skip right over indie news to get straight to the spirit of the season. What games make you? What games do you play on Halloween? What games are you inspired to play on Halloween? What spooky, less spooky? Like I know Mike's got all those Sicko games that he's gonna try to talk us
Yeah.
into. So let's just jump in. Topic of the show: spirit of the season indies. What do we think people should be playing for Halloween, or what are we playing for Halloween anyway?
Okay, I lied. I can't do it.
Oh,
He tried
who's
so
that? Oh
hard.
my god, it's Mike.
It's Mike.
He's
Oh my
freeing
gosh,
himself.
I've never seen his eyes in such a manner.
Also, different location for
Doing
recording.
good? You doing good? You feeling
Well,
okay?
I'm playing. Oh, my nose started bleeding. There's embargoed things that requires a camera to be face on while playing.
Gotcha. Yep.
So yeah, that's why you got a different angle. I don't know where you want to start. Do we want to start with Janet finally playing Butcher's Creek? I think that should.
Oh,
That'd be
did
a-
you actually
No,
play all the way
definitely
through?
not. I did not play Butcher's Creek. I did not. I started that game a long time ago, and then I was like, quickly like, no, I'm bouncing off. I mean, obviously, there's like the classic horror construction for the spooky season. So obviously, like things like Through the Spotlight,
Yeah.
or
Great
Crow
shout
Country for like more modern picks come to mind. Obviously, I'm dressed as Hornet from Silk Song. And honestly, like, I feel like if you don't want a horror, Silk Song kind of does fit because it has like a moody, kind of grungy vibe a little bit to it that I think could kind of, be fun and of the season. And it's also just convenient for me because that's already what I've been playing a bunch of. So realistically, that's what I'll be playing for Halloween. But
The
for
true horror,
theming
convenience.
stuff, yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. The true horror is swapping the freaking Steam Deck and the Switch too because one is always dying and you're just kind of rotating them through the same USB-C cable. But I'm not a big like replay something to fit the vibes kind of
Interesting.
person is the thing. So I don't know that I'm like inherently going to be reaching for a specific like indie to go back to, but I feel like it's a good time for if you have your wish list, which for me I kind of keep evergreen, is just like games I'm interested in, going through that and trying to pull out what's something kind of spooky that I have been meaning to get to or finish. Like I was looking actually the other day at I'm choking now.
Oh no.
Excuse me.
The spirit of the indies is choking you.
What is it called? I know y'all know the name for this. Something Park, pet little
Pico
Petco
Park?
Yes. Pico Park I think is a
banger.
nice kind of horror level where it's like it's not really horror, it's just kind of like weird little guys, but it'll give you like that vibe. So I feel like if I want to somewhat deviate but also make progression on something I
wait,
haven't played,
wait.
that might be something I end up reaching for.
Is this Penco Park we're talking about?
Penco Park.
Penco
Apologies.
Park.
Penco Park.
Penco, Petco,
Very
where the
different.
pets go. Like it's
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
it's something like that.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's a great choice, especially for people who are not like huge into horror and like really spooky games. Because I think there is
Which it's like Pokemon Snap. Also, we should say.
Yeah,
Which,
very
we've talked about
Pokemon
this game many times.
Pokemon
But
Snap,
that's the
but like
vibe.
Fatal Frame-ish.
Yeah. I want to give a secondary shout out to Fear the Spotlight. I think Fear the Spotlight
Yeah.
is.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of Resi likes out there nowadays. A lot of them very good. A lot of them, middle of the road. But I think Fear the Spotlight does something so unique in its narrative and its way it unfolds that story. Especially something that's so reliant on the characters and just who they are as human beings. It's a very humanizing survival horror game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that is such a special experience that it's definitely gotten its flowers, but I feel like not nearly enough as it should have last year. Second kind of wind with Fear the Spotlight also, I think it just got added for anybody who subscribed to PlayStation Plus Premium or Extra, one of those. It's on there for free to download if you are a PlayStation Plus bonus subscriber. And iMape is putting out a physical edition that I very much want to grab for myself because I think that game is very special.
So many good physical editions are coming out right now. I'm just like bleeding money getting them all. I think I might have picked that one up because it is really, really like I loved it from when I started. I love their story too because the developers are a spouse team.
Yeah.
And they had put the game out and it wasn't getting much attention until Blumhouse grabbed it and were like, let's just give you money to figure out your whole like everything you ever wanted to do with this game. So they unpublished it and then republished it with like the second story, I believe, is all part of that. And that's one of my favorite parts. Like no spoilers or anything, but
Yeah.
the second half of that game is the one that really, really hits me. And it's a little more of in the horror genre than I think the first one, which makes it
That's fair.
a little more. It like if you're fine with just playing the first half, it's satisfying. But like that second half, I love so much.
Second half it's such a gnarly deviation of what the first half does, even like mechanically and again storytelling wise, pacing wise. It's such a wonderful complete package, and what a story that is of like. I feel like you don't really hear about somebody or a developer unpublishing their game and finding the success that they have, especially getting picked up by like a major new player that is Blumhouse in indie horror. So yeah, and also like when we met them at Summer Game Fest, whatever it was, a couple years back, they're like the sweetest people. Like it could not happen to like a better pair of human beings.
Absolutely. So give them some love because they definitely deserve it.
Speaking of last year, mouthwashing. We want to talk about some Sicko
Mouthwashing.
stuff.
Yep. 100%. If you have not played, we have Indie Council all together talking through that game spoilers. I keep losing my hood. Because that game was just so good. Rah! I am the final boss of Elden Ring. I thought about it. The
Millennia?
Malenia?
Yeah, you got it.
Because red hair, they like a red haired character over there. I'm not gonna lie, I really did.
It's a fun vibe that y'all bring to the table, societally speaking. I think Millennia with a Let Me Solar Her guy, like couples costume alert.
Man.
Like
yeah, that would be.
Has anyone done that yet?
I need to get
not an indie game, but still fun.
Yeah. Jumping off of games that are not totally scary, games that are spoopy games. Duck Detective just came out, the second one this year, and it is a lot of fun. Ghost of Glamping. It's a little spookier than the first one
because there's a ghost,
because there's a ghost, because there involves ghostly things.
Classic.
So you get a little more. Yep. I see ghost. I think spoopy. That's what I say.
Wheel World also has a ghost in there.
Got ghosts in there. If you're it comes with you the whole time. I also want to really shout out Dead Take, which is the game with Ben Starr and Neil, I forget his last name. Newbaum. And the developers behind Tales of Kinzaro. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zao.
Tales of Kinzaro Zao.
So it's a really interesting pivot for that team to have gone from this game is a like clips of actors going up against each other for like a role in a movie, and it's very like human based and like jealousy based and just really messed up. You are playing this character Neil plays the protagonist, who is sort of like he's been trying for a long time to get his break in Hollywood. And possibly this is it, but his best or a very good friend of his has the lead or has been announced as the lead, but he's also kind of being promised the lead. But his friend goes missing after like a opening party in the Hollywood Hills somewhere. So he goes to find him in this house, and it's just like it gets increasingly terrifying. Like at first it's just kind of like, oh, okay, it's like your basic big spooky house with like, I can't open this door until I solve this puzzle and this puzzle. But then something happens later on where you see that world so completely differently. And it's just like, oh no, now I have to walk through. I want so much to like explore everything again, but I don't want to because it's like horror. And I am like, oh no, I don't want to know anything about this. And it's so good because it's like, it's not spooky in that. Okay, I can't even say that. But like, the scarier thing about this is like the humanity of it, of how much people are willing to like what lengths people are willing to go to like backstab each other for things, or like how much desperately they want to break in, and what that desperation can make happen, what people can exploit that kind of desperation. So it's like really, really, and it's visually very beautiful, and like the performances, this might be the game that has the best performances of the year. I'm not gonna lie, just putting those little clips together and watching things happen and watching them kind of build out throughout the experience, it is so good. And it's a very good, like, you can get it done in one sitting. It might be more of a like weekend game, but if you wanted to start on Halloween and go all the way through it, this would be a very good choice for that. And it's still kind of on the less spooky side.
Structurally too, like remind me if I'm like mixing this up with like, you know, other games that they're blurring together. Is this kind of like choice driven, almost like FMV style, or does it have like a more traditional like input mechanic? Like what's the vibe from a gameplay perspective?
It's kind of resi. It's kind of
Okay, so it is more like you got your hands in the dough and you're like doing
you be
stuff.
doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, you be in there.
The FMV stuff is like you are collecting stuff and you go and you play it on a projector.
Okay.
So yeah. It's not quite like Her Story or Immortality. It's not fully FMV, but it is a big part of what that game is narratively.
A game that I don't know if I've actually talked about on this show ever. I'm trying to remember, and it's hard to keep track. But October Panic is a game that I played sometime last year, and it's just like a side scroller, like arcade kind of platformer. You're just going through it. It's very short. It's like 5 levels, but you can't like save or load, so you just kind of have to like one shot it. But it's got like such a great retro aesthetic to it as well. And it's also in that vein of it's aesthetically spooky, but it's not like you're not going to play this and get scared playing it. It's just got like, you know, skeletons and ghouls and goblins. It kind of reminds me a little bit vibe wise of Super Mario Land 6 Golden Coins has a Halloween town where they have like legally distinct Jason like walking around kind of vibe. It kind of has that energy to it a bit. So I think this is like a fun, quick one. It's what is the retail? The retail is normally $3.99. It's on sale right now for 99 cents. Buy it and don't play it. You know what I mean? Like at that point, who cares? But this is like a fun one to kind of have in your back pocket. That I feel like I stumbled across it kind of like right out of the season, so maybe I didn't end up talking about it at the time as much. But that's a fun one. And then one that it's not a game that it's like not a for me game, but I acknowledge that I think it actually is kind of good. I just can't play it. A little too scary. The Cabin Factory. This came out
this is really
in January this year. And it is a spot the difference horror game, which is why I started playing it, because I'm like, oh, I love spot the difference. I'm down for like a spooky setting. The situation is that you're given a bunch of different you're literally working at a cabin factory. They're sending cabins down a conveyor belt. They have you go in, take a look at them, and report whether or not something's strange about it or whatever. And you put like yes or no when you like step out. But the thing is, you like enter the cabin and it's like a scary setting of maybe there's like a small like baby doll with a knife and like, you know, a monster in the corner. It's kind of like a tableau that you're walking in on, but sometimes something will like move or happen in there. So that was kind of I wouldn't say beef with it, but the part where it's like, oh, you lost me is in my head. It was like more pure spot the difference, aka comparing two settings next to each other and then finding it. This is more like, it's the same-ish setting, but separate. Like normally in Spot the Difference, there's like a side-by-side situation. And this isn't a side-by-side. You're like walking into a three-dimensional space. And also it just got a little too scary for some of the stuff. Like they have a couple of the, they have a couple, I don't want to like spoil it because that's part of what makes it scary, but it'll sort of, you know, play around with like the construction of the gameplay loop. So like one thing I had, talked about actually on the episode of PvP Bang that just went out was one of the scariest things for me is when I'm locked in doing a task and then the game's like, now I'm going to scare you because you're so focused on the task. You're like, your guard is down. And I think the Cabin Factory definitely leans on some of those kinds of scares. So like I was streaming this game and like partway through streaming it, I'm like, guys, I can't do it anymore. Like we're done, just because it was just like a little too much for me personally. But I do think it's like a fun game. And I like enjoyed the construction of it. It's just like it's a little too much for me. But if that sounds good to you, I think you're set up to have a good time. I don't know if either of you dipped into Cabin Factory much when it came out.
Yeah, 100%. This is a great game to play. It is on the spookier side, but it's also on the shorter side. It is a very good stream game because it's got that like you play it once and you're kind of done because you know what the secret is. But it's also sort of hilarious to watch people play because it is scary, but at the same time you're supposed to be like engaged mentally so that you can like spot things, and a big part of it is like you're at your job and the job is to like say whether or not this is spooky or not, and if you get it wrong you have to start from the beginning.
Yeah, and you have to get 10 in a row right, I think, or something like that, right?
Yeah. So if you get it wrong, you have to live through those scares over again, which makes it really funny to watch other people go through it. So if you have friends who don't know anything about this game, don't tell them anything, just make them do it. And it's really, really funny.
If I may dip into some Sicko stuff.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah,
Before we get into total Sicko, I want to shout out Katana Nut. It is a ninja in space with zombies. Great. Getting a little more into the horror. I also want to shout out a couple games that you can play co-op that are in the spirit of the season in case y'all want to be playing with friends, in case you're social peoples, unlike me. So Whisper Mountain Outbreak you can play right now. I believe it's still in early access, but it is very much like isometric top-down-ish kind of game where you are running around with friends shooting zombies. And the other one I really want to shout out is Co-op Kaiju Horror Cooking. It is about the end of the world and trying to prevent it by way of cooking and trebuchets. So if that sounds like your thing, go check that out for Halloween. And now, Mike, please feel free, get to your Sicko games.
Yeah, just
what
a
are
pair
the
of them
real
for now.
Halloween people playing?
You know, the real Halloween shit. You know what I'm saying? I want to talk about The Lacerator. from Games from the Abyss. Shout out to the homies at Dread XP. So this is a survival horror game from Dread XP. Came out. Oh, it came out this month. I didn't really. It feels like it's been an eternity. Came out
It
this
has.
month for the old Halloween season. Survival horror game, but the catch here is that if you lose a limb, you have that limb lost for the entire game, and you have to just now you're playing the entire game without a leg or without an arm or whatever other extremity that you may be missing throughout the experience. What I love about it, it obviously has those grunge horror sicko aesthetics, the old school like PSX vibe made for modern day. It is just leaning so hard into 80s B movie horror, and it's so good. It's just so obscene. I haven't played the full build yet. I played like early preview stuff, but this is something I want to dig into this weekend for Spoopy Weekend.
I liked that butt shot. That was great. If we could just
Yeah,
leave it there.
it's very like, as you saw, The Man That Loves Sex. It's very trashy 80s porno vibes. Also, which,
Love it.
If you're into that, you would definitely be into The Lacerator. And then another one from Dread XP. Again, I played preview builds. I haven't played the full thing yet. If Steam decides to work with me, is Pigface.
Pigface
From Tito Loves You. The best way to describe this is first person Hotline Miami, where it's just like a run and gun, die and try again experience that you are just trying to escape this hellhole that everybody's trying to murder you. And it's really good. It's really fun. Played it at PAX. Haven't played the full build yet, but it's definitely one of those like similar to Hotline Miami or like a Katana Zero, something that you want to keep persisting at in order to get through and survive and just dominate everybody that's trying to kill you. It's a really good FPS experience if you're into FPS and you're looking for something with a little more of that grungy sicko flair. Pigface is very good. Very good.
Yeah, it
If
really
Jenny was here, she'd mention Slay the Princess.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, Slay the
Here's
Princess.
the annual Slay the Princess, which in Jenny's defense, I still have not played, so I got to keep it.
Oh, it's
which I really
good,
need to
Janet.
get to that. And now that they have I forgot what they called it, but kind of the definitive edition. Honestly, what I kind of want to go back to, because I tried it at the time, but then I went on my Slay the Spire journey. So now that I'm Slay the Spired, I want to give Inscription another shot, because it wasn't,
Oh,
again,
hell
it was
yeah.
never
Okay,
anything against the
yeah,
game.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was, I was incapable. Like, I tried a couple times and I could not. Like, that game's full of, kind of surprises and twists, some of which I honestly already know, which takes away from it a little bit, but I'm still interested in playing it. I didn't get to any of that. I didn't get anywhere close to any of that because I was still just like, just playing the game, just on the board. But I'm hoping that my deck building skills have maybe evolved to a point where I can like complete a game like Inscription, which by no means is like known as a hard game. It's just still, I'm still a genre newbie to that. I have a hard time seeing the path of like, actually, this is what I should be doing and how I build my deck. Even in Slay the Spire, I feel like I have done really well with like a lot of unoptimal builds. Like, I didn't get rid of cards for like the first like 20 hours of playing that game because I was like, why would I get rid of cards? I have that poverty mindset with the deck builder. I'm like,
Keep
nah,
it
I
up.
gotta keep these. Which again, that build can work, and there are strategies in that too. But yeah. So maybe now with a second chance, and it's on more platforms now, so that's cool.
Yeah. Big
Yeah.
recommend. I also want to shout, because I always kind of, for whatever reason, pair these two in my mind. Since we talked about Fear the Spotlight, I do want to shout out Crow Country as another like stellar
Yeah.
Resi-like
Yeah.
experience.
I had to toss
I think
that
Crow
on.
Country
Janet did
versus-
throw that in there, I think. But
Oh, you did? My apologies.
Yeah, but though honestly, go for it because
Yeah.
I was not like a huge fan of either of those games, but like I just know of they're kind of in the hot zeitgeist of horror. So yeah, go for it with Crow Country.
Yeah, no, I think whereas Fear the Spotlight definitely does something new and I'll say innovative with the Resi like formula, where it's trying to avert expectations and doing something interesting with its narrative and its pacing. Crow Country is straight up a love letter to the PS1 era of Resident Evil, and it just brings it polishes it for modern audiences. Like there are like retro mechanics in there. Like if you want to play it with tank controls, you can play with tank controls for a more quote unquote authentic experience. But there is so much love and care that went into just the systems of that game and the mechanics of that game that really make you feel like you are playing Resident Evil again for the first time.
Yeah.
And I think it's very, very, very hard to achieve that. There's a lot of games that have tried it, but I think Crow Country is the one that really excels in it. For like a 1-to-1 love letter to original Resident Evil, like this, Crow Country is the one that knocks it out of the park.
Something that surprises me about, because you're like hot on Crow Country. I was not on Crow Country. But one of the reasons I was not on Crow Country is because I couldn't figure out the puzzles. And you're supposed to be a fellow dumb. So what's going on? Are you smart in secret?
Secret smart.
Or am I dumber than I realized? Because that's actually
Two
the
sides
more
of the same
likely-
coin. Two sides of the same coin. Well, speaking of coins, I think it has a really good hit system in there where like
maybe I wasn't
collecting
using that
coins. Collecting coins, and you could go into the little, I think it's like a fortune teller's like kind of thing where it could point you in the right direction. There weren't really any puzzles. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just like the Resident Evil brain
Maybe
that
it's
has
the
been
horror
festering
of
for
it.
years.
The horror
Yeah.
spirit takes hold of you and
Yeah,
does
the fear
the puzzles for
has
you.
fix the things. I will say generally I'm better at environmental puzzles than like logic puzzles, but these
Sure.
are mostly environmental puzzles, but I think because it is such a more small contained space, but you hit puzzles more frequently, so then I think I was just like and I just got like stuck in my own mind with Crow Country a bit, but I don't know. Maybe I'm not too dumb for it if you can play it, which sounds really insulting.
If I could play it, you
everyone
can
else.
play it.
It was funny. Literally, yes. I think earlier today I was referencing you and colleague Patrick Klebeck over on Remap as like my fellow dumbs, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you said that." I'm like, "No, we all like
No,
talk
it's a
about this
compliment,
among
really.
ourselves.
Yeah.
This is
a
our
badge.
community, okay? We can say it to each
Yeah.
other because we're in the same group."
A very niche 3-person community. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. But if Jill was like, "You guys are dumb," we're like, "That's really fucked
Yeah,
up of you to
honestly.
say,"
Ugh,
you know. And
I'm
she would
sorry.
never. She would
Ugh.
never. But we get it. Yeah, puzzle babies for life. Let's go.
I believe
Yeah.
y'all can do anything you put your minds to. I really, really do.
Yeah.
I think that's true, but we need to put our minds to it a lot for a long time.
Yeah,
It's
and
just different.
my mind goes through a lot already. There's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of worry out there. There's just,
Yeah.
you know, there's just
Yeah.
so much
It's like how
happening,
anyone
yeah.
can run, well, outside of like literal like medical issues and things like that, anyone can run a marathon. But like if I had to run a marathon this year and one of you who hasn't done that had to, it would be inherently easier. So that's kind of the difference. Because
Yeah.
yes, Jill, I do believe over time it's a muscle that can be trained like anything else, but it is like it's a very weak muscle that me and Mike have.
Yeah. Like
We've
I felt
atrophied a little bit.
I think I'm still feeling the harm that Blueprints has done to me.
Oh my
So
gosh,
far.
Blueprints is so good. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm
But-
still like,
Well,
Mike, I
I'll
need to beat
never
that game
see
for
the
you
light.
I need you
because
guys
I
to
want to
play
be
it
able to report
together.
back.
Listen, I made it to the room, and then when it met
You
me
made
with
it to
a
the room?
Yeah, but
Oh,
then
but-
there was a locked door. I was like, I'm not gonna figure this out. Fuck
I
this.
know. It's like, I can't stand when a game fucking lies to you. These fucking shady ass developers, you know?
It's like you're telling me
into
I
the room.
grinded my
Ooh.
way to get to the room, and you're gonna hit me with a locked door? Nah.
When I entered the room, I should just like YouTube over to the credits. Like, wow, it's crazy.
Just switch OBS scenes. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I've thought about like I love credits so much. I've thought about adding credits to my real life to like incentivize me doing tasks. Like, what if I just rolled credits on the laundry and it just like was a crawl?
It's like
Anyway.
replay credits.
Sorry, Jill. I'm taking us far away from the holidays. But
No, I love it.
Ah.
We're in the holidays. You did talk about Slay the Princess, which reminds me to shout out Scarlet Hollow. Share that.
Yeah.
Um,
Which
they
just got
did
a new
just did-
episode, right?
Yeah, they just got a new episode up, so they're not totally done, but continuing the story, it is very good. It's a little less it's maybe a little more narratively rails than Slay the Princess. But if sometimes that's what people like a little more, is that it's a little more concise narrative to this. So go check that out if you haven't already. I also want to shout out a couple things that are small, like bite-sized versions of the games that haven't come out yet. So like we've got demos for the Secret of Weepstone demo is up right now. And I played that at PAX West, I want to say, PAX West. And it was one of those games that as soon as someone sat down, they're like, yep, this is one of the best of the show, if not the best of the show. And it's got skeletons and spooky, and it is very kind of 80s D&D inspired, which I love so much. So go check that out. Also, I want to shout out Bloodletter has its
Yeah.
demo up. And it was supposed to come up, I think, earlier, but It's finally out. Let me actually grab it. Bloodletter. Because this game I have been watching since I found it on Twitch or itch.io. So it is a game where you are sort of this like country healer witch sort
I
of.
played this
Yes.
at Gamescom.
So they finally have a demo up, and it's a really cool concept, and it's a really interesting game. And I haven't played the demo yet, so I want to see how much they've kind of put into it. It looks like they've got a little more artwork built out, which is really cool. But it's spooky and it's short and not too terrifying, I think. So
No, definitely not.
No?
Yeah, that's not. I mean, it's just like they're look. I don't want to gatekeep what people can be afraid of, but they're like static images. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
Like they're not. It's some spooky looking things, but nothing too grand. And yeah, it's got some fun twists on sort of how like the combat works, because it's a lot of like sort of almost like pseudo relationship building with like the characters in the town, where you're like go to somebody to like buff a certain stat, or you're like you're kind of like strategically take buffs and debuffs depending on like what kind of attributes you want to like raise and lower for different characters, because you can like heal them, they can become sick, and then there's also like an element of trust, and it's like, oh, when you like up one number, another one will go down, you'll need like a certain amount to, so it's kind of like a fun take on the formula a little bit. But yeah, I jumped on this on a whim as being like, I'm a deck builder person now. Am I? I have no idea. Do I just like Slay the Spire? Probably. But newfound thread to pull. That's always fun.
Let's
see how much the things will
herself.
unravel. Yeah.
Spider jokes. I have yeah, there it is.
I
There's
pulled
the
out
thread.
a thing of thread of yarn.
I got another little bite-sized spoopy for the old adventurers out there. Kaput Mortem was a very
Oh
good
yeah.
old school dungeon crawler that came out
Really
late
old
summer
school.
this year. A bite-sized joint. You could play it in one sitting. I think I rolled credits in like 2.5, 3 hours. Really creepy eldritch horror first-person dungeon crawler. Has a really cool mechanic of I'm trying to remember how
Arm.
like what the inputs were.
I'm doing
But
the arm
yeah,
for you.
yeah, like you have to like position your arm and hand in certain ways. Like that's how you interact with the world. Where like I think it's like left stick is
Yeah,
position
your
your arm one
arm.
way, and then you have to push with the triggers or something. It's very interesting. I thought it would get really annoying really quickly, but you end
It's
up getting
fun.
used to it, and it's actually pretty fun. Yeah. But yeah, Kaput Mortem are a really good just dungeon crawler if you want something bite sized for the weekend. If you want something a little more meaty, if Steam will load, Dread Delusion is
Oh yes.
it's Skyrim. It's creepy, weird, like vomiting rainbow horror Skyrim. It's really damn good. I feel like not enough people give this game the love and flowers that it really deserves. Even me, I have to go back to it. I only played it throughout early. I played it like a bit in early access, but I wanted to wait until the full 1.0 build came out. The 1.0 build came out the week after what was the date? May 9th, May 7th?
Yeah.
It was one of those. It was one of those games. So I do have to go back to it because it's a really, really killer take on like the old Elder Scrolls formula. It's very much inspired by, like I said, Skyrim, but it's very like Morrowind, the more old school.
Yes,
RPGs.
the old school. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. And this developer's new game, I forgot exactly.
Oh, it's
what
so
it
good.
was.
The new one, Entropy.
Yeah,
So good.
Entropy looks really, really, really damn good.
Yeah, I also played this at PAX West. It's not out yet. Plan for anybody audio listening, it's in 2026. But yeah, it's really interesting, like turn-based RPG sort of game. So a little different than what they've tried before, and
yeah,
it's really fun so far.
Another one that's not out, but this just reminded me with turn-based. Yeah, Lurks Within Walls. I played at PAX East.
I saw a trailer for this in the Scary Showcase recently, and I was just like, Mike's gonna love this, but also I hate it. I hate it so much.
I am not. I've said it multiple times on multiple pieces of content and whatnot. I am not turn-based boy. Not at all. there's something about these kinds of dungeon crawlers similar to if you ever played Severed, where you are choosing a path and you're kind of going by quadrants in a way where you're just like walking like step by step. That's an awful way to describe it, but hopefully y'all are picking up what I'm putting down. That combined with hyperrealism, combined with Trevor Henderson's masterful creature design. Trevor Henderson, the sicko behind Siren Head, and just like a really, really fantastic turn-based battle system that like has a little bit of that Pokemon Persona flair in there, but yeah, I don't know. There's just something where like all like these little pieces of like things that either I'm hyper interested in or hyper love, plus like things I'm not super familiar with like more intense turn-based combat systems that I don't know. It's just I was so enamored with it when I played it at PAX. There's a demo available on Steam. I highly recommend it. I thought it was supposed to come out this year, but I think I just saw on
It
this
got
trailer said winter 2026.
yeah.
So clearly got pushed. But yeah, they could take all the time they need. They're on the right path. Highly recommend if you want to do some demo digging. Highly recommend checking out Lurks Within Walls.
I've got two games that are now that we're in our Sicko era that I know Mike is going to want to talk about a little bit more. So first of all, I want to shout out Eclipsum. It is bizarre. It is bizarre and it is captivating. You are just kind of walking through, at least from what I have played of it so far. I've not finished it. The visuals are so like grainy and crunchy and weird to begin with, but the part of it that I have played, you are essentially it is completely silent protagonist and you are being followed by this godlike creature who is just watching you as like her eyes kind of follow you, and you're just it's so unsettling. And it really for I don't know how to explain how captivating it is because you do wanna just continue going and seeing what's happening, and as you get more kind of breadcrumbs and hints as to what's going on, you get more questions as to what's going on as well. And being one of those games that's just so freaking good with having absolutely no dialogue, but you know what to do. Like that is hard to do in a game, and the fact that this game does that and keeps you going, even though it's real, it is a sicko game. So go check that out if you can. The other one I want to shout out is Karamina, which I know Mike absolutely loves this game, so I'm gonna let him have the floor for explaining it because I don't want to undermine this. But also, Jenny really likes this game, so it tells you a little bit about its universal appeal. But go ahead, Mike, tell us what's going on.
Yeah, I admittedly I have not dug into the full like commercial release. Bastion, the developer, is a friend of ours through 6-1. We showed off Trip, which is an upcoming game, in one of our earlier showcases last year, and then in May, I think we showed off Katamara, where just a little bit peek behind the scenes. We were going to stealth drop Katamara during that showcase, but then Bastion at the last second was like, "Hey, got a call from a really promising publisher. I'm so sorry I have to do this. Blah 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 blah." Yeah, it ended up being Critical Reflex, and which gave Bastion more time to flesh out his vision completely. So I have
Love
not
it.
played the full polished commercial project yet, but what a bonkers, just surrealistic little bite-sized narrative this thing is. Bastion has such a wonderful, twisted, in the most beautiful way possible mind, and I just cannot comprehend how this man puts his thoughts into code and you get something like this. It's just like the game looks like nothing I've ever seen. The characters are so riveting and imaginative. And again, for like an hour experience, like this, it's like the epitome of bite-sized banger, doesn't overstay its welcome, packs a hell of a punch into a tiny package. Yeah, I think everybody, if you appreciate really good narrative and like engaging systems that won't take like 30 hours of your time, I can't recommend checking this out enough. And it's only $5. So
When you
skip
were
the coffee
saying
today and
the length of
grab it.
the game, like I was literally like no joke, I was like googling how long to beat, ready to paste the thing to see how long it was. Okay, you've sold me. Even though I need to stop buying games when I like have games I haven't played that I want to play and need to play, but I did just buy this game to see because the
The
vibe's
real
so good.
horror of
It
the
kind of
season.
it's weird because I know they're not necessarily like even close to the same game like style, like in terms of like mechanics, but it just reminds me of like Grunn, and I really
Okay.
I
like
was gonna
Grunn.
bring that up next also. Yeah.
So it's just like, yeah, I mean that's another like great one that is sort of like it never, I guess in a way this is a spoiler, right? But it never goes full like, oh my god, well, I guess there's some things that are a little scary, but like it does not get that scary. Grunn as a game for scary recommendations or whatever, but it has like a spooky vibe to it because it does have the looping nature. I think there's also a bit of familiarity that gets built in to the experience. So if you are someone that is like hyper averse to scary games, this will probably be about as like scary as you can get, where you won't be like too horrified. Also, it's worth noting in case you missed it, the art is very like pleasing and flat and like
Yeah.
a limited color palette that leans on like greens and blues. So anything they depict can only be so scary because of the art style. I mean, they still have some unsettling like faces here and there and like weird little guys, but ultimately it's not like it's hyper realistic or chasing, you know, realism in any way. But yeah, just kind of a fun, almost there's like a magical element that has like a surrealist tone to it. And I think that's what really creates the sort of fear, but also lingering curiosities that Grunn can create. And this was one of those ones where, again, y'all, if you've listened to the show for a while, you know I'm obsessed with credits, and when the credits roll, I roll. But there are a few exceptions, and Grunn was one of them, where I beat that game, and then I was like, well, I gotta see the other endings. And I really like games that are constructed in this way. I am down for a multiple ending game if it feels like I'm really getting stuff out of the endings that's like for me and not for the game. And what I mean by that is I don't really enjoy a multiple ending game when some of the endings are like clearly more intriguing than others or valuable, where it's like the game gets marked down if you don't exhaust it completely. Like I don't like that in games personally, but I do love a game like Grunn where doing one run, I mean, you are missing quite a bit of the game, but you know like what the game has to offer, and I think it does get better as you invest a little bit more time. But I think if you did one run and hated or loved it, you'd be kind of right in that. And I appreciate that about Grunn. So it's as much time as you want to spend in it.
I think Grunn is one of those experiences where like Kyle and I got to play it together. We experienced it for the first time together during our Extra Life stream last year, and based on like obviously it being a fantastic video game with a phenomenal gameplay loop and narrative that is totally just batshit fucking crazy, you know, pending how much time you want to put into it. I think that paired with the experience I had with Kyle playing this game, like it's something that I think like give it another year or so, I think it might go down into like one of my top 10s of all time. I adore this game so much. I think it does so much right. And I think, Janet, the way you put it of like, depending on how much you want to invest in it, like you'll definitely get something. You'll definitely be rewarded for how much you put invested in it, whether it is one or two runs or you go full, like I need to see every single ending. I think Grunn is such a special experience that I think for me it's gonna go down to as one of my like all timers when maybe I sit on it for like another year or so.
Yeah. It's also one of those games that is criminally just underappreciated.
I'm shocked it's sitting at only 874 reviews.
I was literally double checking my best of list from last year. I'm like, please tell me this made it, because if not, I want to see what those other games were. And yeah, I had it as like number 7 only behind games like Animal Well, 1,000 Times Resist, and the like. So it's very high up there for me as well. I don't know where it sits in the pantheon of like all games I've played, but it is one of those games where I think it's when described, because it's like, oh, it's a looping game. It's like you're set up as this gardener, and then you sort of are. It is a game where the inherent loop is the day ends, and you want to see if you can kind of like escape, for lack of a better term, like before the day is done. But as you go, it's a game about observing and exploring, and then as you gain information, it's about executing things in certain steps, almost like I know we've talked about it being like a baby Outer Wilds. Obviously it's different in that like you can't do like if you wrote down the answer to Outer Wilds, you could like do that all in one run. It's like different than that. Like there are endings where it's like you can't knock it all
Situational.
out in one run. Exactly. Yeah,
Mhm,
where it's like,
mhm.
oh, this one requires you to, it blocks you off from other aspects of the game. So it's different in that sense, but yeah, it's just so captivating. It kind of reminds me of Gone Home in a weird way, even though they're very different, like genre wise. Which is the idea of like carefully exploring a space, getting to know it, and pulling on threads.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
using
Grunn
information
is so
as a
good.
tool.
Mm-hmm.
I think
But not a
developer
Metroidvania, which is important that everyone know.
correct. I think Tom over here is just giving me sock pop. I think Tom has a new game coming out next year,
Yeah,
and I'm very excited. I forgot
I'm
what it was.
keeping an eye on it. I've forgotten what the title is as well.
Burn Ban.
Burn Ban. Yep.
Yeah, not horror, but
Little alien guys.
yeah, little alien boys.
Little alien guys. I don't know if y'all want to talk about any other games because I'm gonna try to slide into both games we've been playing, but also a Halloween inspired one as well. If you don't mind, I'm gonna take over. I
Yeah.
absolutely fell in love with a game over the weekend, and it is bum-ba-da-dum, the Seance of Blake
Oh
Manor.
yeah, okay.
Oh my gosh, the Seance
Okay,
of Blake
girl,
Manor
how's this not just blueprints?
is
This
so
is
it's
blueprints again.
actually I did
But I know
have
I'm wrong
people
in
like
that. So
I
what is
had people
different?
comparing it, but it's a lot more the combination of like Case of the Golden Idol and Clue rather than Blueprints, which to me is a much
Okay.
more Betrayal on House of the Hill experience.
Yeah.
Um
So
so
just only the
this
art styles feels the same then.
the art style feels the same, the fact that you're in a old manor, but
Mm-hmm.
in this particular case it's been turned into a hotel, so it's got a little bit of a different vibe to it. So first and foremost, the Séance of Blake Manor is such an Irish game. And being a bit Irish and knowing like I'm such a history nerd that knowing that it is set in Western Ireland during 1897, you already, if you know something about Irish history, you know the tensions that exist at that time in that place. When you are already like, before you enter anything in this game, that's already something that is going to be push and pull, and you don't need to know that because it does come out throughout the game. Intentions of like any great horror piece of medium, it touches on class, it touches on like politics, it's talking about like different, like the haves and the haves not, and just the sense that like it's so good. All of the voice acting is amazing as well. So before you even get into it, like go check out my review. It's just I've just put it up, and it's so much fun too because the game itself starts on October the 29th. So like it feels like you're playing it during your like day, which is cool. The basic idea here is that you are a detective and you receive a unsigned letter that says, "Hey, a woman has gone missing in the Blake Manor Hotel. Um, I need you to find out what's happening with that." You don't know who it is, but the letter comes with a lot of money, so you go down to Blake Manor, and you step in, and the manor. It's October the 29th, and on October 31st, Halloween, Samhain, you are the hotel is hosting a grand seance. It's going to be this huge thing that's going to cross barriers for the first time. So it has attracted a large group of weirdos, essentially. Like
Yeah.
magically, like
Hard
people
to
who
get
think,
normal people at a seance, you know?
like people who definitely are believe they're mediums, people who are connected in some way with like magical and like traditions. So like you've got like a druid there, which is really cool. You have people who are there to debunk magic, people who are there because they're like, you've got like a voodoo practitioner, which is really fun. So they've got like all different types of people there for all different types of reasons. One of the coolest things about this game, and one of its most clever design elements, is time and how time works. So once you step into the hotel, you'll notice at the top of the screen is like the time of day. Interacting with almost anything will cost a certain amount of time. Most of the time, it's like 1 minute. So within each hour of the game, you have approximately about 60 interactions you can do. And that's like look at a painting, talk to a person, like explore a hedge, like all of these kinds of things where it's like the clock is always feels like it's ticking, even though it doesn't move until you make a move. So it's this really cool sense of both urgency and I'm never going to be able to see everything, but also if I just stand in the middle or like walk around the hotel, the time doesn't move. So I can take that time to just sit down, think about what I've just learned, think about how best to go about figuring more stuff out, who to talk to, what to, sneak into. So it is that really lovely, like intellectually, that you're given just enough and you're like, okay, I can't get through everything. I have to figure this out. But also, it doesn't frustrate you practically because you have the time to stop and think about things. So it's just absolutely brilliant in that way. When you talk to people and you learn different hints and you get different clues about things, you have like a little mind map in the inventory. And when you have enough information to solve a particular mystery, so like maybe why is this person here, or who was arguing in the hotel room next to you, or whatever, the game will let you know so that you don't have to like make that guess yourself. So you automatically know if it says, hey, it's time to make a hypothesis. Okay, I've got enough information to make a hypothesis. You go in and it then turns into a very golden idol like Mad Lib, essentially, of like, here's all of the things that you have discovered, all of the hints that you've discovered, and they transform them into words, which you then plop in and it'll say, yes, this is what's happened. I've deducted all of this and all the scene will play out. And from that, you glean one hint about the culprit of the central like case of what's happened to this missing woman. So everything that you do is building up to the central what has happened case. And it's just so beautifully written. It is so smartly tucked into its time and space. I love the setting itself, the actual like manor going around. You've got you never have anything, basically you never have downtime. You're never like bored because you can go and do so many different things and discover so many different things. Your decisions make a lot of difference for the ending. So I'm really excited to watch people play this game because they will make different decisions than I did. And I want to see how that affects the world when you have finished everything. And I'm just so, so in love with this game. I suspect more people are going to come out like raving about it as we go through in time. So I like, seriously, this is a very, very creative, clever, like perfectly spooky. It is a little spooky, but not like Sicko spooky game for Halloween specifically because it is so built around Halloween. And that is the Séance of Blake Manor.
So based on how you described it, I imagine the answer to this is probably no. But is it a game where you have to take notes outside of the game?
No, not at all.
Great.
This is very much everything is provided for you within the game. And that can feel it felt a little overwhelming for me to begin with because you've got a tab for like mysteries, you've got a tab for all your records, you've got a tab for a timeline of things so you can keep track of where people are. You've got like a map which also shows where people are on the map so you can find them, until I realized like each tab has kind of the same information but just presents it in a way that's like
okay.
okay, so the timeline helps me know where people are, and so I don't have to go back and look in the like, where was that thing where I heard that they were going to be at this thing? Yeah, and it's really, 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 really accessible and um thoughtful to players. Anything that you need, they've got. Like, if you've talked with someone about a particular piece of evidence or something, they'll have a little symbol that indicates you've talked to this person with this already, so you don't have to do it again. Like, really, like, makes it so you don't have to remember anything. The game will remember it for you.
Cool. Yeah, no, it's good to hear
Sweet.
more about this. This is one where I saw this across my timeline. Was like, okay, the vibes feel good because I'm now I'm primed to look at a game with its art style and say that must be a good video game because there's been other games that have that art style that I've enjoyed, right? But hearing that more about the gameplay and like what it is has been cool because I do think like a lot of people I'm like, oh, is this just blueprints because it's a house that has the same art style? It's like, oh, it's actually like more like these other games. Is something that I didn't expect and hopefully isn't, I don't know, a point against it. I feel like sometimes, and I fall victim to this too, when it gets more into the like the hyper specific genres, like there just become this, there can only be one thing where it's like, well, I already walked around a house and thought, so I don't want to do that again. It's like, well, this is different. So yeah, kind of a reminder of like, you got to get your hands on the sticks a little bit, or at least watch someone play. You can't get everything just from screenshots and vibes. So
Yeah.
I will say that being said, where does this land? Like, do you like rock with this more than Golden Idol? Because I've gotten to the Golden Idol games pretty recently and really, really enjoy them. Obviously, it's doing something a little different because you're more walking around an area, while Golden Idol is like you're entering scenes. But where does this land in comparison to like those types of games, or even something like a Botany Manor, which I feel like has maybe
It's
some
got a
shared
little bit
DNA
of
with
this.
this?
Yeah, it kind of is. It is more on the Botany Manor of challenge. Like, this is not a challenging game.
Ooh, that sounds good to me.
This
'cause
is
it's
not a
like,
challenging
I love
game.
Cocoon. People are like, it wasn't that interesting, and I'm like, I know, that's what I liked about it.
But it's not challenging, but it also makes you feel very like Sherlock Holmesy, which is a really cool
Yeah.
combination. So this might be Mike and Janet's blueprints of the year. Like, this might be the one you go for. And it's basically what I
Blueprints
really,
Junior.
yeah. I watched someone play the beginning of it and I saw that they hit a fail state and I was like, I didn't even know you could hit a fail state. But
Damn. You grieving people in the chat, Jill? You gonna get banned.
like, here's the cool thing though. If you hit a fail state, it immediately says, let's start over. You know what to do now. Like, it's fine. So you just load back in and you're like, okay, no, I know not to do that. But also when you solve like one of the Mad Libs, I was worried that you could do the wrong one and just be working off of bad information. But
Oh.
apparently if you pick the wrong thing, it just says, no, that doesn't make any sense. Let's go back to fixing that. So you actually know when you have done something, you've done it right.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool game.
I like that it's dumb friendly. I
It
approve.
is. And it's so Irish. I can't
It's funny how
explain to
like
you how good it is.
Janet mentioned like it just being all over the timeline. If I feel like I remember this kind of being announced at some point, and then suddenly everybody and their mother was talking about it this week.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like it was announced. It looked cool. And then I didn't hear anything
Right.
about it. And then suddenly it was out. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'll check this out. And I didn't know
Yeah.
that I was going to love it as much as I did. But please go check this out.
Cool.
Okay. I think, what else did I have that I wanted to talk about a little bit? We are kind of splitting here between the topic of the show and things we've been playing at this point. So I'll consider this games we've been playing. I want to shout out Slots and Daggers, which I know all of
Banger.
us have played a little bit of. Yes.
Yeah.
I did finish it. It is a really hard to put down game, which means that I finished it in one sitting, essentially. I love the beginning of it, and then the second half when you hit upon these like amazing synergy relationships, it starts to go really, really fast. Which I love because it's sort of friendly. It's a friendly sort of roguelike experience where it's not, oh my gosh, I have to be super skilled with how I put things together. No, it's supposed to be very understandable for people and very friendly for people who are not used to the genre. But it is still really, really fun. It's just once you're done with it, you're kind of done with it. And I am so excited to hear if in the future there's like more added to it, more DLC. Like unlike say Balatro, there's no larger reason to continue. Like Balatro has like, okay, now you can like complete it under different chips or with different styles or whatever. This doesn't have that. But this is still a really amazing experience for the year, and you should go check it out. Is my basic spiel on it. I don't know if y'all feel different.
I'm only in the third level world, whatever you want to call it, so I haven't seen it to completion, but I could definitely understand. Like I already get the feeling of now that we're in the full game and I see where we're going of, oh, will I have a reason to go back to this once it's done? And that's not necessarily a ding against the game, because if that's just how it's built, that's how it's built. I personally, as somebody who likes, small hour counts and like just give me a full experience, and like I don't really need a reason to go back to something, hell yeah, I'm all about it. But I definitely understand if we're making like the Balatro comparison or anything like that, or even the ball pit comparison.
Yeah.
Sure, definitely on the lower rung of things, but I still think just the systems in play and the synergies that you get, and just that the slot gameplay loop paired with a roguelike battler, I think is really, really brilliant. And like it's something that I put ball pit down to focus on. Like, so it's definitely grabbing my attention in that way, especially personally speaking, as I'm obviously teasing something with Sicko Indie that's happening that's this week, that's like taking up a lot of time, and obviously we're doing the award stuff and coming off all these games, and work has been crazy. So like the fact that I could just hit A 3 to 5 times on a slot machine and let everything else kind of do the work, and I just pick new weapons and pick new synergies that I want to try to go for, it's been a good, just relaxing, don't really have to engage with this too much kind of a video game, and I really, really appreciate it for that. Versus ball pit, you have to think about.
Yeah,
ball pit's a banger, but just
I'm only like 30 minutes into Assaults and Daggers. I've done like the first 2 world levels, whatever you want to call them. Definitely there's some stuff that stands out is, like you guys mentioned last week, the art design is really great, the sound design is fantastic, and I liked the QTE element of it, which I didn't quite visualize like when you guys had first talked about it, and then like so getting to experience it, I'm like, oh, this is like a fun like extra thing to get to do. It kind of reminds me of, again, totally different genres, totally different results, but it does kind of remind me of like Clair Obscura being a turn-based game that integrates like QTEs. It just kind of gives you a little bit like more to do, and it kind of makes the gameplay a little more engaging. Again, Clair didn't invent doing that, and there's many games that kind of blend these things, but I like that aspect of it. I worry about like how like good I'll be at it, or like interested I'll be in trying to create those synergies. I can see myself falling into bad gameplay habits in this game. While like look at the like stuff I have to get. I think kind of it's pros, it's cons, right? I think it's very quick and easy to get into, and it's like immediately kind of appealing, where it's got like this great sound and flashing and like and you're like great, and you see a monster and you're fighting it, and it feels very like familiar and like nostalgic, and there's something really like affecting about that. But then on the other side, the con is I feel like, okay, well, I'm getting these coins, I can really buy stuff, it's really easy about like slotting stuff in and out. But because of that, I'm like, I have like almost too many options where I'm like, I guess, I don't know, maybe should I have more health that's so boring. Is that like the right move here? And again, I'm very early, so maybe these things will start to become clearer as I go. But I'm like, or I find myself making like silly mistakes of, okay, immediately I guess I should be trying to like slot machine to hit my shield first to like keep for damage, but then you don't have like that much, which maybe there's buffs that help with this, but like the control of the speed of the slot machine and things like that. So I'm not quite far enough into it to sing its praises or explain like why it's not working for me yet, but I've enjoyed what I've played of it, and I think it's very like instantly kind of appealing. Like it's the kind of game where it's like if you played on a show floor, you'd walk away and be like, that was pretty cool. But again, I'm early enough that I don't know that I can really speak to how clear those synergies are going to be. I mean, I have poison stuff, which I love poison stuff in games, so it's like that's cool.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to dig more into some of that stuff, but I find that I'm not fully wrapping my head around like certain elements of progression or even like the challenges that I'm about to get like presented with, which it's like, am I even prepared for the next thing I have to do? I don't know yet. So yeah, that's where I'm at with Slots and Daggers.
I will say that one of the best experiences of this game is seeing something new for the first time and being like, "Oh, cool. I wanna try this thing. This thing looks really like, oh, I didn't even know that was like, I played it on stream and people who had played it, were watching and they're like, "I've never seen that before. That is so cool." And just like, "Okay, that's what we're doing. We're going full this mode, full magic mode this time instead of, full swords and punching people."
Yeah.
Um
I think one element that is interesting too is the fact that they have, which I'm sure this isn't like solely unique to Slots and Daggers. If I played more of these games, I probably would have other examples, but the having abilities that you can like do an X amount of times in a turn, but you have to spend money to do them.
Mhm.
This is also bumping up against like how cheap I am as well. Where I'm like, I think it's my thing too, where it's like I'm kind of struggling to get good at the gameplay because it's kind of in a week, like I don't know where to go yet. So I think I am
Mhm.
kind of caught in the middle of like the systems where I'm like, I guess I probably need money. I should start spending this money I have, or should I not? Like I'm not sure like what's the best way to build
Yeah.
is yet.
I'm kind of with you, Janet, unless I'm playing specifically a, like, money build run, I tend to only get the things that are, like there's a stake, that you can get that will heal you a certain amount of much, but it doesn't cost any money to use, um, and then as you go on, I gravitate towards things that will heal while, attacking, so I don't have to worry about that, um yeah, there are some good workarounds for that, I will say. This is a really well thought out, very friendly game, that won't take that much, thinking in the future, but yes. That is Slots and Daggers. I also wanna shout out Motion Wreck. I played this originally back in PAX East, I wanna say. It's a really cool kind of platformer with the idea that during the game, you can record your own movement, save that recording, and when you are at a level or part of the level that you can't do anything with, you can hit play on that recording and your character will automatically do that thing. So let's say early in the level, there's some kind of floating platform that does like a Z shape. It goes from bottom to top. And then later on, you have a big cliff in front of you that you couldn't possibly jump up. You go back, you record your movement while you're just sitting on this floating platform, push play when you're back at the major cliff, and then boom, 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 you are at the top. And of course, this gets more complicated as you go through, but it is just a really clever gameplay design. It looks really cool. You can see here it's got that kind of black and white thing to it, but there you go. That's someone who is recording and playing their motion. Um, and it's one of those games where it's like, wow, I like never thought about this idea before, but it is such a clever idea. I can't believe no one's ever really done this before. Um, yeah, please go check that out. It just came out and deserves love. Not a lot of love on it right now.
Yeah, this looks very cool.
I
Yeah.
just bought it. I heard about this at first from Remap during Next Fest, like a few Next Fest ago. They had put this on my radar a little bit. Yeah, it's like, it seems really cool. I love a good puzzle platformer, and like aesthetically, it's very like Gato Roboto kind of, you know, that black and white look to it. So yeah, fun.
Okay, and it looks like Janet. I don't know if you want to go into your detour or not.
Yeah, I'll do a little detour just a nod. Sometimes you have to double check. Do I like this game or not? No, no, I'm not into it. I had baby steps, and that was on my. We talked about this like 2 weeks ago, where it's like hot indies that I feel like I have to play, and I'm like, I think I should check this one out because it's like a hard game, and it's like physicsy, and everyone's singing its praises. I just don't think it's that type of game is like a me game. So, but you know, I'm like, let me give it a quick go, and I'm like, I just don't want to engage in physics on that level. So that's, I think, a little bit one step too far for me. But knocked it off my list. So cool on that front.
There you go.
And other than that, we're still just doing the same old baby. Where it's Hollow Knight Silksong. This has been a big year for like long ass games. Like, at least for me personally, and historically, when there's a long ass game in a year, I don't beat that game in that year, and I almost never beat the game, right? Like for non-indie, like I didn't finish Metaphor Fantasio, debatable indie, I didn't finish Baldur's Gate 3, and this was the year where I'm like, I'm gonna lock in on these long games. So I did clear Obscure already, and Silksong's my other long game that was sort of like the personal sleeper hit. Obviously, it was like super critically acclaimed and like hyped up going into it, but I did not expect to spend almost any time with it. I'm like, I'm probably not gonna like it, but at least I'll give it a go. And it worked out. So sometimes it can, sometimes it doesn't. Still in Act 2, but I'm right at the end of Act 2. I have to, like, there's like a boss or so. I don't know. I guess I don't want to spoil too much stuff or whatever. And then I'll be into Act 3 once I'm done with that. I can do that at any time at this point, but I am spending some time doing some additional map cleanup and doing more of the quests and trying to buy like all the stuff that I can buy. So I'm now doing like, honestly, like really boring stuff. Like I'm like grinding for rosaries and like looking up guides on where stuff is, which admittedly some of the, I guess, weaker parts of the game, like the side quest construction of being very like, get 8 of these things, find 8 bells in the tunnel, they randomly spawn. It's like, not exactly the juiciest system, but the general act of spending a lot of time and cleaning up the map, still very satisfying. Like I was talking about with Jenny like a week or two ago. It's just so many surprises around different corners, but in a way that feels surprising that stuff exists. I think what, I've said it already before, but what's so unique to Silksong in the Metroidvania space is the fact that I rarely feel like I'm finally going back to, the sand place where I couldn't reach. Like sometimes I do feel that, and that one is an example of, yes, there's like hooks that you clearly can't use until you get an ability, but the way they do like hidden walls, hidden areas, extra loop arounds, like is very satisfying and very surprising, and also makes it feel just more organic. Like it doesn't end up feeling like, oh man, I'm trying to like get to this other part of the game that I can't access. You kind of just stumble into stuff and say, oh my God, I had no idea this was even here. In a way that is really, really nice, and sneaky and fun. And it's remains to be very cool hearing other people talk about this game, seeing where they are in the game, and realizing how different everyone's routes are. It almost feels like, how like a big part of the fun of Super Meat Boy was when you beat a level, you saw like all your deaths before. It's almost or like even like on the AAA side, like Breath of the Wild, like they have that mode where you can see like everywhere you stepped on the, in Hyrule of Breath of the Wild. It kind of feels like that, but through like anecdotes, like just hearing the different orders people did things, like, following Rebecca Valentine from IGN and seeing that like she didn't get the Reaper crest until like an hour ago, and I've been using that for like the whole game, and I'm like, that's insane. And then like I just got the Architect crest like yesterday, and I'm like, oh my God, like if I realized this was here, I maybe would have gotten it way earlier, but like I didn't, and that was like kind of some of the fun of it. And now there's like this whole other layer to engage with. So yeah, it's been really good. We'll report back on my first credits roll, and then honestly, no promises on getting through Act 3, but I will be playing it and trying it. There's also a chance that I slow down or pause on Act 3 just for sake of time, I've spent like almost 60 hours in this game already. Apparently, there's like an insane amount of game after Act 2, and I would love to play other video games. Just to have played them. If it was, again, if this job wasn't a job, I probably would just play Silksong until I was like completely done with it. But I think it might be a good slow down time to pivot to some more indies and also maybe a little bit of AAA stuff with that. We'll see what that Pokemon do, but that's pretty easy because you knock that thing out casually on the side of watching TV, so it'll be fun. Right?
That Pokemon do good. That Pokemon do pretty good.
That little indie game,
Yeah. I mean, not
before
owned by Nintendo, at least partially they are actually, but not completely. Go ahead.
Before we move on, it seems as though Mike wants to take a moment for a very special announcement.
So I was recording Cooped Up, Patreon exclusive podcast for 6 on Indie last night, and we were talking about games and talking about things, whatever. And a game came up, and we were reminiscing quite a bit. And then I saw on the periphery over there that something was announced under the radar, and I called one Janet Garcia, probably interrupted dinner. I apologize.
No, I was laying down when you called me.
Okay.
And I thought to myself, what day is it? Is Indie Council today?
Friends, family, loved ones, I'm happy to report that Goobies 2 is coming out
Yes!
in Q2 2026.
Oh my
Goobies 2,
gosh,
Secret of the Goo?
Goobies.
Secret of the Goo. Man.
Secrets will be revealed.
We're so back. The Goobies gang can never die.
Oh my
It
gosh.
only
It looks like it
multiplies
goes
into goo.
vertical. I'm so into this.
Dude, we're so back.
We're so back, everybody.
We're so
Welcome
back.
to Goobies 2. That's all we're talking about in 2026. Forget
That's it.
everything else that's ever happened.
I apologize ahead of time.
Do you think it got a sequel because of our work here on the console?
Yes.
Yeah.
Console?
It was purely because of us.
Yeah,
Okay.
100%.
That's what I felt it. I didn't, I know no one wants to be the first to bring it up, but I feel like we are the people that are spearheading the conversation on this game.
Yes.
100%.
And everyone I
love
tell this game about says, "Oh, okay," and I'm like, "You're not gonna fucking play it,
But
piece
you
of shit."
will.
No, I'm just kidding.
But they will. They'll do it and they'll be like, oh, we should have listened to you earlier.
Again, just buy it and don't play it. Like, I don't care. I'm not
just
auditing your
support it. It's
time.
alright.
just like
We
when
don't
you're
need
doing
to make the time for it.
something boring. Put it on. This is a great airplane game. Trick or treaters.
$5.99.
Yeah.
Just drop it.
Well, now they're probably waiting for that bundle to drop, right? But it's like the inevitable Goobies 1, Goobies 2, the total Goob collection or whatever. But
Total
I mean,
Goobs.
honestly, obviously, money's money. So I'm not saying that like, oh, literally just buy like whatever. But like to the degree that you can afford, obviously we have the privilege of, getting codes for a lot of games. Like there are many games I have codes for. Most of my library at this point is probably code acquired, right? But there is something really fun about like kind of shopping your own library once you have it, right? Like I rebooted my Steam Deck after a while of not having it on like at all. And then looking through my library and being like, there's some good games in here. Let's see what I want to play. And you gotta it's like a fucking squirrel getting ready for winter or some shit. Is that what squirrels do? I don't think they're awake to it. Whoever hibernates, like a bear, whatever, right?
Like a bear,
It's a more
yeah.
accurate
Whatever.
animal. You get all your shit together and get in your hole. That's what I have to say.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And play
Put Goobies in the
Goobies.
car, put whatever in the car, and just be like, you know what? When the mood strikes, it's like, yeah, you want to try to find. It's easier to find what you're in the mood for if there's more things in there. for
Yeah.
you to dig
When the
through.
mood strikes, just dip into the goob.
Just dip
I think
into
that's
the
it.
goob.
I take credit for as the council. I think we take credit for at least 1,000 of these.
100%. Yeah. If not more.
At least, if not more.
I
I
will
mean, listen,
say, if
I'm,
you
I'm
end
happy
up
to
reviewing,
claim. I have to claim all of them, but
if you review a game on Steam and you played it on our recommendation, name drop us in the review. Be like, I heard about this
Yeah.
on the Indie Council. I'm sure someone's done that somewhere at some
We
point.
appreciate you 100%.
Honestly, even if you didn't like the game, fuck it. I'll take the
Yeah.
smoke. Let me know. Thank you for trusting me once, and I hope I'll lead you properly at some point. But
Gosh, this looks fun.
yeah, no,
I'm
this
not
is
gonna
fun.
lie.
and a rarity. There's not a lot of indie sequels. We talk about that a good amount, and it seems like it's doing something a little bit different, but not like insanely different, which I think is a sweet spot for a sequel.
honestly, it looks like it's taking a lot of notes from Megapunk.
Yeah, it looks
like
like it's more like
and stuff.
3D, not 3D, but like it's not overhead. It looks like more isometric, like not full first person,
Yeah.
but like more of a over the shoulder I mean, or the circle, right? They're mostly goo. That's kind of the whole thing. Oogie
I
Look at this
think-
boogie.
long leg little sicko.
We also need to upgrade our like awards and things to Goobies 2 Secret of the Goobs nominations.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. But
Yeah. But memes aside, it's a good game. Like
it
you
is a
should
good
It's
play
game.
genuinely
It is a
genuinely
genuinely
a
like
good
go
game.
check that out. Go check it out. That is an exciting announcement. With that announcement, that's the end of this week's council. Thank you to everyone for joining us. We're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and the Indie Council has its own socials. Go check us out on Blue Sky at theindiecouncil.com. This session is closed. I don't know if Mike's going to be able to push the button while he is in fly mode, but this session is closed. Go play some indies.
Ugh.